welcome to year 2 of the Mafia Means Family podcast.
I'm Mafia Mom.
And I am Mini Mafia. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell for more cool content.
All right, so we are back for year 2. How was your summer, Mini Mafia?
My summer was great. I just had my birthday. We went to Gettysburg. We did a ton of cool stuff. We went out to haunted ghost tours. I've went to a ton of my friends' houses. I've just had a great summer. How about you?
We had a really good summer. It was fun, but I am definitely missing some football. And we got a comment here from Jason N. Thank you very much. He said, best show on the planet. Go Bills. Thank you so much. Appreciate the confidence in us. I hope you enjoy it tonight, everybody. So please feel free to comment as much as you want. We want to hear from you guys. We want to interact with you guys. That's most of the fun of doing this, honestly, is just connecting with other Bills Mafia members. So you also went to Jim Kelly camp this summer, right?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
And thank you, John Herring, for saying happy birthday to me. I really appreciate it.
You got a couple happy birthdays there, right?
Yeah. Thank you everybody for wishing me happy birthday. I did go to Jim Kelly football camp this summer. I might be going to a different camp, but we're not sure yet. But
Knox's camp, right?
Yes,
next year?
I might be going to Knox's camp. I'm not sure yet. But I had a great time, and the entire team worked really hard.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot of fun. They worked hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this year, we're going to have a lot of the same stuff that we did last year. For anybody who tuned in last year, we're still going to play Fact or Flag. We're still going to make predictions about the upcoming game. We'll recap the game before once the season gets started, things like that. Again, if you have any suggestions or anything else you think that we should talk about, please feel free to put it in the comments section. We are going to have a little bit of some new stuff this year too. We have a new addition to the family, right? Who's that?
That is our great one and only Mafia Mud. His name is Tasker after Steve Tasker.
He is a Pomerat, which is a Pomeranian Rat Terrier mixed. We're teaching him some Bills-related tricks, so make sure to keep your eye open and turn on that notification bell so that you can see the Bills-related tricks we're going to be posting in shorts to this channel. So we'll have that, and we'll have a lot of other fun stuff, right?
Yes,
but for now, let's get into the Bills, because that's what we're all here to talk about. So the draft, I think that's the best place to start. I would rather just move past the way last season ended. It left a bad taste in all of our mouths. It was not a pleasant experience. I think we all feel like nobody really showed up in that last game. It was a lot of drama to deal with over the course of that season, and I don't think that was a good representation of our Bills and what they're capable of. So let's move past that. Let's get to the draft. What'd you think of the draft?
The draft was interesting, especially as drafted Kincaid.
Were you surprised by it that they took a tight end in the first round?
I was kind of surprised, yes, just because we already have Dawson Knox. But what I've heard of Kincaid, he's a really good receiving tight end.
Yeah, I myself was also very surprised at first. I don't follow a lot of college football. I completely admit that. So I wasn't, I didn't know the names quite like I'm sure a lot of you out there do. But when I saw they took a tight end in the first round, at first I was like, what is Bean doing? Like, I hate to question him. He's shown that we should trust him, but what is he doing? And then I looked into it a little bit more, realized that he's most likely going to play more off of the line as almost like a slot receiver style more. And now I'm very excited to see what this guy can do. In preseason, he's been impressive, and definitely very excited to see what he's going to be able to do and build chemistry with Josh Allen. You want to read the comment there?
Wow, Zane Anderson got picked up by the Packers.
Yeah, it's a busy day in the NFL. This rest of this week will be from everybody cutting down to the 53-man rosters. So there's definitely going to be some surprises. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about this a little later, but we might as well bring it up now. Kirksley getting picked up by the Bills. I know he's coming off of an injury, but that may be able to fill that middle linebacker spot. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets on the field. As far as I know, he hasn't cleared waivers yet, or not waivers. I'm sorry. He hasn't passed the physical yet. So we'll see what happens with it. But I know you want to talk more about the middle linebacker later, so we'll pause on that. Okay, so other than Dalton Kincaid, any other thoughts on the draft? We took a guard, Torrance, in the second round. What did you think there?
I did like that just because like we do need offensive linemen. Our line has been weak. Last year, it just been weak, and I think we need some new additions.
Yeah, I would agree there. We definitely need to be able to give Allen more time. And I know everybody feels so strongly about the run game, whether you think we need to run it more, you think we need to run it less, it doesn't matter. Either way, we need to be able to be a threat in the run game, which means we need an offensive line who can push people off of their spots. And I think between the injuries, I believe if you look back at the stats, we did not have one offensive lineman play every game last year. That was 2 years in a row that our offensive line was decimated by injuries, and that's going to hurt us. We need to stay healthy, and we need to be able to protect Allen and open up some holes. We do have another comment here from Mafia Sports Report. Christian Kirksley was at the Bills facility working out today, so I believe he has passed his physical. Okay. The last update I had seen was yesterday, so it's very possible he has passed it now, and maybe he'll be the answer. My knowledge of him coming over from the Texans, he struggles a little in pass coverage. We'll see what happens. We play a different style of defense than a lot of teams in the NFL, so we'll see if we can kind of hide his weaknesses there if he does win the starting job. Okay, so beyond that, is there anybody else in the draft you want to get into?
No, not really.
Okay. I will just say that I am excited to see in the future, maybe not this year, but in the future, if we get any production out of Justin Shorter, or if Williams becomes a starter in the future. I think it's Dorian Williams. We'll see if we get anything big out of any of them. But at this year, I just don't see them making a huge impact other than maybe on special teams. Um, so next we will go on to factor flag. This is your favorite part, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So I'm going to give you a statement, and you are either going to claim that you believe it's a fact or you're going to toss the flag in the air, right?
Yep.
All right. First statement. Josh Allen is the same age as Jim Kelly was when Kelly went to his first Super Bowl with the Bills. And please feel free to play along in the chat if you know whether that's a fact or flag. Please feel free to answer it in the chat. Because everybody's starting to talk now about how the window's closing for the Bills. I call BS on that. That window is still very, very open. Last year was an anomaly. The injuries and the things that they had to deal with, there's no way that nothing has changed. We still are the only ones who are going to hold ourselves back, in my opinion.
I think it's a fact.
You think it's a fact? Okay, just give a second here, see if anybody else answers. So that is actually false. Josh Allen is actually a couple years younger than Jim Kelly was. I believe Jim Kelly was 30 when he took us to our first Super Bowl. And Josh Allen is 26 now, 27. If you know, maybe you can put it in the chat, but I know he's not older than 27. So a lot of time left. I think because of the early success of guys like Patrick Mahomes, it makes it look like Allen has come up short, when in reality, he's just taking the same kind of path that a lot of other great quarterbacks took. Peyton Manning didn't win his first Super Bowl until late. This is not uncommon. It just doesn't happen for everybody overnight. Not everybody inherits a playoff team right off the bat. I agree, Mafia Sports Report. I mentioned Torrance a little bit, but I think we got really lucky getting him in the second. I think he is going to be a starter, and he's going to make an impact on that O-line for sure. I'm a little bit more concerned this year about the right tackle position, as last year it was more the guards I was worried about. But I'm just hoping Spencer Brown can hold up. But I completely agree with you. Osiris Torrance was a huge pickup. And Jason N., thank you for that. Josh Allen is 27, so he's still a few years younger than Kelly. All right, next question. Factor flag. Diggs has increased Diggs has increased his touchdown production each year he's been with the Bills. Fact or flag?
I think that one is a fact.
I think that's a fact. All right. Let's see if anybody else answers here. We'll just give you a minute. So we all know things did not end well last year with Diggs yelling at Allen on the sideline. Then there was all that ridiculous drama from a couple months back. My opinion on that is it's blown way out of proportion. And Stephen A. Smith trying to stir things up again, if anybody saw that, was just unprofessional and trying very hard to stay relevant. So we have a couple facts here from Lisa, Mafia Sports Report, and Jason. And yes, that is a fact. I believe it is 8, 10, and 11. So let's see if he builds on it again this year. All right, last factor flag. You ready? Mm-hmm. Other than Josh Allen's rookie year, McDermott is undefeated in season openers. Fact or flag?
I think it's a fact.
Fact. Okay. Just give a chance again. If anybody wants to answer, we'll give you a chance to. So, oh, Lisa's saying flag. And Lisa would be correct. So we didn't even get to throw the flag today, but maybe I wish I could forget. But a few of you, Jason N also said flag. Good job, guys. A few of you answered there. 2 years ago, we lost to Pittsburgh the season opener, which was a very disappointing loss. It was not a good game. It was in front of our home fans. It was ugly looking. So McDermott is 4-2 in season openers. Aaron Rodgers, however, has lost his last two season openers. Yeah, those damn Steelers. I know they always get in the way. Every time I think of the Steelers getting in the way, you're too young for this, but there was this way back in like 2000, 2001. Maybe you guys who are a little older might remember it. We had an opportunity to get into the playoffs, and the Steelers had nothing to play for, and they were playing their third string guys, and we still lost. And my father is a huge Steelers fan, and he talked so much crap after that. It was very, very frustrating to watch him lose that. So not a fan of the Steelers either. Okay. So again, Aaron Rodgers has lost his last two season openers. So we'll see if that trend continues on the Monday night opener against the Jets. It should be a good game either way. All right, so we're going to move on now past the fact and flag portion. We're going to move to our biggest offensive and defensive concerns for the upcoming season. So, what would you like to start with, Mini Mafia?
I would like to start with the offensive.
Okay. And what is your biggest concern for the offense? And again, in the chat, please feel free to share your concerns.
I think the biggest concern on the offense is the number 2 receiver spot, Gabe Davis. Last year, he obviously didn't show up. He did make a couple plays, but overall, he just wasn't playing as good as he should be for the number 2 spot. Also, there is some contest, like you said, with
Justin Shorter.
Yeah, Justin Shorter. For the number 2 spot, I don't think he's going to be very relevant this year, but in a couple years he might be. I just hope that competition is going to push Gabe Davis to his full potential this year.
I think that's very well said. I'm hoping there's definitely some guys that are pushing Gabe Davis to be his best. I still really like Gabe Davis, and I want him to do well, but I don't think anybody, even the biggest Gabe Davis fan out there, could argue he had a good year last year. So sorry, Tommy, if he's your boy and we're ragging on him here, but I think even you would have to admit there were some issues last year. I believe of all regularly targeted receivers, he had the second worst catch percentage, or the second highest drop percentage out of all regularly targeted receivers. That's a problem. Um, our receivers, our pass catchers have struggled consistently with catching the ball. The best that we've ranked in the Josh Allen era was around 17th, which is middle of the pack. We're usually bottom 5 in drop percentage, middle of the pack. And that was in 2020 when Allen had a record year. Highest completion percentage, less turnovers, all that. It's not a coincidence. If you catch the ball, your quarterback does better, you win more games. It's just the way it works. So I would agree with you. However, since you picked that, I will pick something else. I would say my biggest concern then would be the offensive line. I think there's potential there, but it's about whether or not they can gel with the new pieces and can they stay healthy. And if they can, I have a lot of hope for him. Allen is an elusive quarterback, and he can cover up for some weaknesses on the line, but you can't be forcing him to roll out of the pocket on every play. You got to give him some time, and you got to be able to open up run holes. So I think the wide receiver spot is the definitely the biggest factor, though. All right, now defensive. What's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern with the defense is the middle linebacker spot. We have no clue who's going to get it yet, but so far it's looking like Dodson, or the new guy I picked up from the Texans.
Kirksey.
Yes, Kirksey. Both of them are weak in defending the pass. But I'm just worried about that spot just because we had Edmonds, but he didn't show up, so I'm still worried.
That's a fair point. I think most Bills fans would agree with you that that middle linebacker spot is the biggest concern going into this season. And who knows? I mean, it could be great. We don't know yet. The problem is you don't like going in with question marks. And this is a huge question mark right now, unfortunately. I was really hoping that we might be able to see Bernard in there, but I know he had some injury issues, and it just doesn't look like he's showing up in practice the way they need him to. They're also, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but they don't seem to be a huge fan of putting young guys in. They really prefer to go with vets. So I agree with you. I think Dodson or Kirksley will end up getting the start. Um, so Jason here says, I'd rather have Stone Cold Steve Austin at middle linebacker than Dodson. Do you know who that is? He's a wrestler. So like it's like saying I'd rather have The Rock. Would you rather have The Rock in there than Dodson?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have somebody who agrees with you here, Jason. Um, all right. So then if you're going to take that one, which again, I think that's the common sense one, that middle linebacker spot. Although anybody who watched that last preseason game, did you see that we like 2 or 3 times went right at Edmonds and showed everybody why we got rid of him, why we didn't pay him what he wanted? He just gets fooled too easily. But moving past that, I guess if I had to pick something defensively, it would be really close between, again, just 2 question marks, not necessarily weaknesses, but one, we've never seen Sean McDermott call plays for us before. So I know he did that in other places, but he's head coach and defensive coordinator now. And I'm interested to see if there's any big change in the defense. He does appear to be more aggressive. Leslie Frazier was real big on not blitzing and getting pressure with the front four, which is great if you can do it. But after Miller went down last year, we all saw that that was a struggle at times. So I don't think it's a horrible thing to throw a little bit more pressure at the opposing QB from time to time. I would say the other thing, and we were just talking about this earlier, is that CB2. Let me ask you, who, if you had to choose between Christian Bedford, Kiara Elam, and Dane Jackson,
Elam.
who do you go with? You would go with Elam. Okay. Now, why is that?
Um, I would just say that he played a little bit better last year, but we didn't get to see much of I forgot his name.
Bedford.
Yes, Bedford last year because he got injured. I think he got injured.
He did. He broke his hand. Yes.
We didn't get to see much of him last year, so Kyer Elam got the starting. I think it was CB3.
Elam will to start the season. Bedford and Elam were splitting time, but Trey White wasn't there. Then Trey White came back, and we just kind of were dealing with so many other injuries. There wasn't like, as far as I remember, there wasn't like a clear cut. This is going to be the guy moving forward.
I just think it's Elam because we saw him play last year. Uh, he like knows some of the guys that we're going to be playing against better. Bedford doesn't know the guys. Also, he hasn't had much playing time, so I'm a little worried about Bedford. So I would go with Elam.
I want to do this comment real quick. If you want to read this comment, because this is more in reference to you, and then I'll get back to where I feel about the CB2.
Christian Kirkley will be the Bills' middle linebacker this season. He may need a week or two before he gets the start, but once he gets the defense playbook down, he will be starting my middle linebacker moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like I would lean that way, given that they brought him in. I mean, why do you pick him up if you don't plan on playing him? I still would really like to see what Bernard can do, but you got to have trust in the coaching staff and let them do their jobs. I am not one of those people who thinks I know better than Sean McDermott, who should be starting for the Bills. So I'll trust in his process. We heard that enough, and hopefully whoever they put out there can hold their own. Bean was asked the other day, would deal away Elam, and he didn't say yes or no. I feel like that's just kind of Bean. Like, unless you're ready to trade a player away, I don't know if you would be willing to say you would. And if a deal came along, like let's say the Colts call and say, hey, we'll give you Jonathan Taylor if you'll trade us Elam, he's not going to say no to that. So I don't know if that's really much or if that's just Bean. We got another comment. You want to read that one?
Gabe Davis is going to ball this season, so the real question is, do the Bills try to extend his contract during the season, or do they let him test free agency?
What do you think? Let's say he really does ball out. He's the guy we thought he was going into last year. Do you pay him? Because there's not a lot of money left to go around. You might end up losing a guy like Hyde or something if you pay him, or do you let him see if somebody else wants to pay him?
I would say to see if somebody else wants to pay him because we do have other receivers that might be ready.
There's
So I would do that.
there's also a couple guys we picked up. Sherfield's one of them that comes to mind. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that Gabe Davis has just showed too much inconsistency, in my opinion, to be able to pay him what he could get in free agency from a bad team. So I don't know if he's going to be here after this year, regardless of how well he plays. I really don't. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now I'm going to go back to the cornerback two position that I was talking about before. So I agree with you. I would like to see Elam out there over that. I think Bedford has better instincts and is a more psychologically he's the better player. However, Elam is more physically gifted. I really don't want to see Dane Jackson in there. I don't care if Dane Jackson had 40 interceptions in the preseason. The guy blows it when it comes time for the game. He makes too many mistakes. I really, really don't want to see Dane Jackson out there across from Trey White. So I'm hoping either Bedford or Elam I'm fine with. Just please not Dane Jackson. What would you think if they gave it to Dane Jackson?
If they have to Dane Jackson, I would be extremely mad because he can't show up at big moments.
Yeah. And Mafia Sports Report here pointing out that Sherfield's only on a 1-year deal. I know that now, but that doesn't mean that they can't sign him to longer after that. I'm not sure we have the guy on the team right now that's going to be the answer to that wide receiver too. But Diggs is getting older, and we got to figure it out quick. So if Sherfield balls out this year, I don't know. We'll see. I think there's a lot of question marks around it though, for sure. Okay, so I think as Jason said earlier, as far as the CB2 goes, I'd rather have Stone Cold Steve Austin playing cornerback than Dane Jackson at this point. All right, we're going to move on to the next segment here. Let me just check. Okay, so now we are going to go into player predictions for next year. So what I did was I took the average yards per game that Josh Allen threw, and I added as if there was a 17th game. So this is not the actual stat line from last year. This is accounting for as if there was a 17th game. So we're gonna say if you think these guys are gonna do better or worse this year, given that if they played full 17 games, okay? All right. So Josh Allen, and please again play along in the chat if you want to. Do you think Josh Allen will throw for more or less than 4,551 passing yards? More or less? 4,551.
That is a lot, but I think he's gonna throw for more just because of the threats.
Okay.
Like Kincaid, they can't double Diggs as much.
Okay. I think that's a fair assessment. All right. 37 passing touchdowns.
I think he's going to have more than that again, just because more people are going to be open, because of like Sherfield, Shorter, is that his name?
Jason or Justin Shorter, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Shorter might be playing a little bit, and Kincaid more.
Okay. I think that's fair. And both Lisa and Jason agree with you. They think that he'll pass for more yards than that. Let me know, guys, if you guys also think he's going to have more than 36 passing touchdowns. All right. Now, we all know what the big knock on Allen was from last year. I agree with you, Jason. I think he's going to pass more and run less. I actually have his rushing numbers next. So you'll see that I 100% agree with you. I think he's going to rush less this year. Last year interceptions were a major problem for Allen. It hurt us. And I think a lot of that was him trying to force it, play the hero ball. We've all heard that many, many times. I will take this comment here real quick and then we'll go back to it. Do you want to read it?
Unfortunately for Elam, he keeps falling on the depth chart. He needs to catch up on his style of defense. Real question is, can he? His main issue is he's too handy with wide receiver, which of course draws
pass interference. I would agree. I just think physically he's the most gifted out of the three guys. And I don't think he was called for pass interference or illegal contact any more than any other CB was last year. So I know he didn't play as much as some other guys, but I still think physically he's the most gifted guy on the team, other than Trey White, obviously. Okay, so rush or 15 interceptions. Do you think more or less than 15 interceptions for Josh Allen this year?
I'm just gonna think he's going to have less. I'm sorry for being repetitive, but he has more people to go to, so he doesn't have to force the ball as much. Also, he has 3 dependent backs on him.
Yeah, I don't think you're being repetitive. I think you're making valid points. I totally agree with you. Wow, Jason is calling 41 passing touchdowns for Allen this year. That would be a beautiful sight. That would be really nice to see. As long as it's not accompanied by like 28 interceptions, I want to see that. So we'll see if Jason called it. We'll have to save this and make a note of it and give him credit at the end of the year if he has 41. All right, rushing. Allen rushed for a what would have been an average, if you average it out, of 810 yards last year, which is insane. Do you think he will have more or less than 810 yards rushing this year?
I'm thinking he's going to have less. I think he put out on social media that he needs to stop playing how he is because he's going to retire at like 30 or 31 if he keeps on playing the way he is. He's going to eventually get a major injury and maybe not be able to come back.
Yeah, I totally agree. We have another comment here from Lisa, probably because we might be overpowering the other teams. I don't know if that's in reference to running the ball. We might have gotten lost here in the chat, but I'm seeing a lot of less here that people think he's going to rush less. He'll have around 300 yards tops. Wow, you think it's going to be really down, Jason? I don't think it'll be quite that low. I think he's going to be around the 500 figure, but I agree with you. I think he's going to rush less. I think Latavius Murray and Damian Harris, who I really like Damian Harris. If he can stay healthy, that guy's a beast. I think they're going to take a lot of the pressure off of Josh in short yardage, which he was our best option every time we had a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. It was Josh. And I think now we have other weapons that we can use in there. But I agree. I think it'll be down. I just don't think quite as low as Jason's thinking. Okay, let's move on to Diggs. So if you average it out, 115 receptions. Do you think Diggs will have more or less than 115 receptions next year?
I think he's gonna have less. Like I said, there's more threats on the table. Also, they might run the ball a little bit more, just to like make it a danger for the pass and the run. So I think he's gonna have less.
Okay, less. All right. And I don't think Diggs cares how much he touches the ball. I don't think he's that kind of receiver as long as we're winning. If he gets 2 catches a game and we're 17-0, I think he's a happy guy. If we perform in the playoffs, obviously. All right. Let's see. We'll move on to yards. So 1,518 yards receiving. Do you think Diggs is going to be over or under that?
I know this might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think he's going to be over that just because they can't double Diggs as much, so he might burn his corners a lot better than he used to, just because like they might have the safety help to double him if he burns the corners. So because they have to worry about Justin Shorter and Dalton Kincaid and those other guys. And if Gabe Davis performs well, they are going to have to either double Diggs or double Davis.
Right. I think that's a valid point. Jason also obviously agrees there are too many weapons on the field besides Diggs. I agree. So you think he's going to get less catches but more yards. So he's going to have more bigger catches, big yardage catches.
Yes, I think he's going to have more big yardage catches because as we saw last year, most of his, at least I think, I don't remember last
year. His average is around between 10 and 13. It's like 12 yards a catch, I think.
So most of his yards were a little bit longer into the medium section of passing. So I think he's going to have a little bit of less shorter catches and more like medium to longer.
Okay, so his average was 13.2 last year, which was his biggest since he's been with Buffalo, but you expect that to go up. His average, so that's how many yards he's getting per catch. You think that's going to go up this year? Okay,
yes,
I'd love to see it.
Comment by Jason N. Now that we have close yardage weapons, Diggs can go for the deep ball more often. So
that's exactly basically what you were saying. So obviously Jason and Mini Mafia here are on the same page. I would agree with you too. All right, now the question here: touchdowns. Now, obviously, we talked about it earlier, factor flag. He had 8 the first year, 10 the second year, 11 the third year. Is he going to get at least 12 touchdowns this year? That would be a career high for Diggs, too, for the record.
Again, this one also might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think he's going to have more touchdowns just because like he's might be going for the deep ball more. So he might have more chances to get touchdowns.
I think that's valid. I also think because of the weapons in the red zone, that's going to open him up more. So because of Kincaid and because of, I think James Cook is also going to step up more this year as a receiving back out of the backfield. I would expect to see us running a lot of double tight end sets down there in the red zone, which I think will open up Diggs to more one-on-one coverage. And we know he's an elite route runner, so I would expect him to get open for 12 and top his career best at least. All right, on to the running game. So last year, if I average it out, Singletary ran for what would have been 870 yards in the season. Do you expect Cook to have over or under 870 rushing yards this year?
I think he's going to have less just because we might be putting like Damian Harris. He might be our like third down back if we have like a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. But Latavius Murray is also going to be getting some touches because we have a lot of 31s, 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s. So I think he's going to get like around like 800, 810. Just because we have other running backs that might get more touches.
Okay. So do you expect him to be effective?
I think he's going to be effective just because he can be used as a short yardage wide receiver maybe, like put him out on the outside, see what he can do a little bit. Also, he might get maybe like a halfback wheel, like where he like, goes to the side and goes up. He also might get like 1st and 8 or 1st and 9.
Yeah.
He might get some of those.
So you think in the passing game is where he's going to be more effective?
Yeah, okay. Passing game or running game.
I think that's fair. Jason here with a bold prediction. He thinks that Murray's going to have the most yards for us this year. What do you think of that?
I think Damian's going to have the most.
Okay.
Just because he's going to be our main back. At least I think he will.
I would agree with you guys that I think that it's going to be a 3-headed monster type of thing that we're going to be throwing at people. I think that Cook is still going to lead the way, though. I think he's still going to have the most yards. If Harris could stay healthy all year, I might give it to Harris. But I think Latavius Murray is going to be used more as a big short yardage back than an every down back. So I just don't think he's going to get the same opportunities as Cook or Harris would. But we'll see how it works out. We'll see what Dorsey does. He's got a lot of options for sure. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about the new guy, Dalton Kincaid. Now, the record for receiving yards by a tight end in their rookie year was set by Mike Ditka. He did it in 14 games, and it was 1,076. My question is, how good is this guy? And do you think that Dalton Kincaid can hit 1,000 yards receiving in his rookie year?
This is no offense to his pass catching. I just don't think we throw to our tight ends enough, so I don't think he's gonna have quite 1,000. I think he might have like in the 700s, 800s.
Okay.
So
still a good year for a rookie.
Yeah, especially for a rookie tight end, for really any tight end. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got a vote with you here. See, you and Jason are on the same page, man. You guys know each other. Did you talk about this beforehand? You know each other? I don't think Kincaid's going to go over 1,000 yards. I do think he's going to have a good year, but I'm with you. I just don't think we target anybody but Diggs enough to have that kind of production. I think he's really going to get his most work in the red zone, though. I really expect him to be a big target of Allen inside the 20, which brings us to our next point. Over under 7 TDs for Ditka. Do you want to read that, Go ahead.
From Jason and Kincaid will have more catches, less yards. Jason, I also agree with you. He's going to have a decent amount of touchdowns, but he's not going to have as many yards just because we're going to be using him in the red zone like a lot more than like we're going to be passing to him in the red zone like a little bit more than Knox. So we're not going to be running as much, and we don't have to run as many slants. We can run like curls with Kincaid since we have as many other weapons as we do. So, yeah, I agree with Jason.
Okay. All right. I think Kincaid's going to be quite a weapon. I'm very excited to see him out there. All right. So you just brought this up. You think he's going to get in the end zone a lot. So touchdowns, over under 7 touchdowns for Kincaid.
I think he's going to have over 7 touchdowns.
Do you have a number? Just curious.
Probably like 8 or 9. So yeah, close to it. Just because like we're going to be using him in the red zone a lot, and he's going to be getting a lot of chances to touch the ball to get our us tutties.
I would agree, and I completely agree with what Jason's saying here. Kincaid is our security blanket. I think he's Allen's security blanket, especially in the red zone. I really like. I don't know if I've stressed it enough. I have very high hopes for this guy inside the 20. Like, I think he's gonna be up there in touchdowns. He could be our touchdown leader by the end of the year. Like, that's That's what I'm predicting. I think he could be 10, 11, 12 touchdown catches. All right, on to the defensive side of the ball. Von Miller last year played 11 games and had 8 sacks. Do you think he's going to be? Oh, we got Jason here saying 9 touchdowns for Kincaid. Do you think Von Miller will have more or less than 8 sacks? Now, he's not going to play more than 13 games. He might play less, but more or less than 8 sacks for Von Miller.
I think he's gonna have less just because he's not gonna be here for the first 4 weeks. So like he's gonna be playing a max of 13 games. I don't think he's gonna have enough time in the games actually to get enough to 8 sacks.
Okay. You know, he did get 8 last year in 11 games. So you heard me say that, right?
Yes.
Okay, because he missed everything after the. Okay. All right. I think he'll be right around there again. I think he might equal that again. All right. Last question about player predictions. So we have Von Miller and Greg Rousseau. Von Miller has not had double-digit sacks since 2018. You obviously just said you thought he'd be under. Greg Rousseau has never hit double-digit sacks.
So
We have Jason here making a prediction. He thinks Miller will have 6, Floyd will have 6, and he thinks Rousseau will have 7. I'd like to see at least one of them get up there higher. If that's the top 3 guys, I think our pass rush might struggle a little bit unless we're getting a lot of help from other guys out there still, which is possible. Like I'm also excited to see Puna Ford, who we didn't get a chance to talk about tonight, but he's another guy. I don't know how much he's going to help in the pass game, but in the run game, I think he'll help a lot and run defense. All right, so Greg Rousseau and Von Miller. Do you think either one of them will have double-digit sacks this year?
I think Root will hit around 10 or 11. Just because he's progressed throughout the years from like 4 to 6 to 8. I think he's going to hit around 10 or 11 this year just because he's getting more used to the defense. He's getting more used to the guys that he's competing with, to the guys he's going against. And he's getting to know the quarterback styles a lot more. So, yeah, I think he's going to have like 10 or 11.
I have high hopes for Groot. I think I'd like to see Miller come back as soon as possible, but I really want to see Groot playing with Floyd and Miller out there. I think that'll be we're learning from both of them, I should say, because who knows the way the play time will break down. All 3 of them on the field at the same time is unlikely. But I think him being able to learn from these veteran guys is helping him. Obviously, working with Von Miller helped him a lot last year, and I think he's just going to keep getting better. Jason did add that he thinks Ford will have 8 sacks. Wow, that'd be a lot, man, for tackle. Like that's up there. I'd love to see it though. I don't know if he'll play enough in our rotation to get that many, but I would love to see Ford up there at 8 sacks.
I think he's going to be down to like 6 or 7.
6 or 7? Okay.
I think that Miller's going to be up there like 7 or 8 like you, and Floyd around like 6 or 7.
Okay. And then you obviously think Rousseau will be at 10 or 11. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So now we're on to the big question here. We're almost done here. We really appreciate you guys spending time with us tonight and talking Bills. Please, everybody feel free to give an answer to this. The big question, season predictions. When we get Miller back, whoever we play is going to be scared. I'd agree with you there.
From Ford to Floyd to Miller to Rousseau, even our center line like Ed Oliver might step up this year.
It's a scary defense for sure. So season predictions, win losses, 17 games. Go ahead. What do you think?
I think we're going to be 13.
And where are we going to win and where are we going to finish the AFC East too?
I think we're going to be first or second. The Jets are either going to be last or are going to be near us.
Okay.
Just because like 13-4 is a pretty good record.
Yeah.
It's either going to be the first or the second. The Jets might pull out a crazy record of 14-3, barely by beating us. They might. I think they're going to beat us once, and that might put them over the edge. But I think we're going to be the top.
Man, that'd be crazy. Can you imagine a 13-4 and a 14-3 team in the same division? Like to be a wild card at 13-4 that'd be painful. That would hurt. But 13-4, that's a very respectable record. I don't think anybody would complain about 13 wins again. We have a lot of people agreeing with you here, 13-4, 13-4. I think we're going to win the AFC East. I agree with you. The Jets are either going to be really good or really bad, and I think it's too early to tell. I think the Dolphins are going to be – I think the Dolphins and the Patriots are almost on the same level at this point with the pickups that the Patriots have had. So I'm not as afraid of the Dolphins as I am the Jets. The Jets are scary. They have a legit
especially
defense for sure.
especially because they have Aaron Rodgers now. They picked up Dalvin Cook too.
Yeah.
They have Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner locked Diggs up basically in the game
He,
we played against
yeah,
them.
he definitely gave him trouble.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the top cornerbacks in the league. He got rookie of the year last year for defense, so he's gonna be up there.
I'd agree. Cecil here saying the Jets are going to be a 10-win team. Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have 10 wins. I think they'll at least make a wild card spot. It's about how well do we have that mid-season brain fart where we fall apart for a few weeks, because the Jets are going to be breathing down our neck if we do that. We can't do that this year. I am going to say conservatively 12-5. I really would like to see us up at the 13 or 14 wins, but I think 12-5 will still be good enough to win the division. I unfortunately do not see us getting the number one spot in the AFC. I think we're just going to have a couple of those games where you go, what are you doing, guys? Because that's how football goes. So I think 12-5, and I think we'll be the number 2 seed in the AFC. That would be in the first in the AFC East, but number 2 in the AFC overall.
I am also excited for the Jags London week.
That'll be fun.
That's going to be interesting because neither of the teams know the field that well. Neither teams have home advantage, so it's basically an even playing field. But I think that the Bills are going to pull out the win.
It'll be an interesting week, and the Jags are a good team now. They're not the laughing stock of the NFL anymore. Do you want to read the comment there by Jason?
Jason, but just like a year ago, Chargers look great on paper, but on the field not so good. Jason, I agree with you. They look really good on paper, especially with Justin Herbert and Khalil Mack now on the team.
But he's saying that the Jets are going to follow that trend, like what the Chargers did. Like, they look great on paper, but they're just not quite there.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers might blow a couple of the games in the first couple of weeks of the season because it is a new team. He doesn't know the receivers or like the team that well, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the New York media is probably the worst place possible for Aaron Rodgers. He is way too full of himself, and he does not like to have to defend what he does. And the New York media is brutal. Chiefs lose to Lions week 1 in a shootout. All right, I'll take
That's
it,
funny.
Cecil. Anytime the Chiefs are losing, I'm happy.
Me too.
So I would take that for sure. I think the Lions are going to be good this year. Speaking of the Lions, like, I think they're going to make some noise in the NFC. I still think the Eagles are top dog, but I think the Lions will be good. But yeah, I think the Jets, as soon as they hit a rough patch, that team is going to crumble because Aaron Rodgers is going to get all whiny and pissy with the media, and the media is not going to like him, and it's just going to go downhill from there. Aaron Rodgers historically does not work well with young receivers, and he is surrounded by them right now, other than Lazard. And let's face it, like, not everybody's Tom Brady. And what is Aaron Rodgers now, 39? Like, he's not young anymore, and I think his best years of football are behind him. So let's see if he can start all over with a new team in a rougher environment, and let's see what he does. But I still think the Bills, it's our belt right now as far as the AFC East comes. Come take it from us. And if you could do that, great. But I don't think the Jets can this year.
Also, speaking of the Chiefs, Jonathan Taylor is requesting a trade to a couple teams. He wants to get out of Indy. He number one, he wants to go to the Bills. But if he goes to any other teams, especially in our division, I'm gonna be scared. Also, if he goes to the Chiefs or the Bengals, I'm gonna also be scared.
I definitely don't want him on the Chiefs. I don't think the Bills are gonna. I don't think the Bills will make a play for him. I just don't think it makes sense financially, unfortunately. But he's a good player, man. A couple more comments here on the Jets. Jason said, just one major player on the Jets goes down and they'll crumble. I agree with you. I think they're a paper tiger team. I just don't think they have it. And then Cecil here, take a look at their first 8 games. I see them going 3-5. I'm with you. In a way, I don't think the record will be quite that bad, but I don't think that people are crowning them already, just like they did to the Bills last year. It happens every year. You got to make a team at least go out and prove that they're good together. Like, just because you take a bunch of pieces that should be good, throw them in there, doesn't mean it's going to work as a whole. The Bills, at least, were getting crowned because they already had those pieces. The Jets are being crowned because they took those pieces from other teams and they're hoping it works. And I don't see them being nearly as good as what people think. And I think they'll be close to us, but not. not where we're playing starters the last week to keep our spot. I don't think it's going to be that close, but I do think they'll have 10 wins. I hope we go out there and we smack them around week 1 because we need to show the NFL that it's still our division, and we need to show the Jets they're still on the bottom. All right. Anything else you want to add here?
No, not really. Just go Bills to everybody, and yeah.
That's it. All right. Well, please, if you can, like, comment, subscribe below. Any suggestions on anything else you'd like for us to talk about, please feel free to share it. We will be back every Thursday at 7:30. So please come join us again. We would love to see you. And yeah, until next time, go Bills.
Bye.